They just need to enjoy life, play, be taught, math, science, arts, and be inclusive of everybody. Parents need to, just teach children to be loving, and children are naturally inclusive. So, it's unfortunate that so many labels are continuing to be placed on humanity and society, and that is what actually further divides us.
To transcend your gender? Very confusing, I would say. Very confusing. Oh, we have myths. Let's talk about the myths. People who are trans know from a very young age.
David Menzies for Rebel News here in North Toronto. And folks, I'm standing outside St. Antoine Daniel Catholic School. And this is going to be the site of a demonstration soon. Yet again, there are more concerned parents coming out to say their piece about what is happening behind the walls of these schools, even Catholic schools. And the issue du jour is a activist. He's a grade 7 and 8 school teacher by the name of Paulo De Bono. Even though he works for a Catholic school within a Catholic school board, Mr. De Bono seems dismissive of Catholic doctrine. And of course, he's all down with the transgender and drag queen revolution. Don't take my word for it. Check out some of his recent tweets. Quote, "Prove me wrong, but I think I'll be the first Catholic elementary teacher to bring drag queen story time into a Catholic classroom in Ontario," end quote. And regarding his visit to the York District Catholic School Board the other day, he had this to say, quote, "Please pray for me because there will be many angry people in attendance at the board meeting tomorrow evening who are very upset about my delegation for flying the pride flag at all York Catholic schools," end quote. And finally, how about this one? Quote, "Pictured as a parent delivering treats to students in the Rainbow Room, there are anti-2SLGBTQI+ persons who seem to need to believe that families who know me are opposed to my inclusive teaching practices. That's not been my experience. Families often thank me for what I do," end quote. So I guess we're going to find out what the demonstrators are hoping to achieve by their protest today. And of course, the question arises, if Mr. De Bono is so dismissive of Catholic doctrine, why is he still working for a Catholic school in a Catholic school board system? Let's go across the street and find out. Well, I'm with John, and John, I'm looking at the track record of Mr. De Bono. He seems to imply that working at a Catholic school, working for a Catholic school board, it's a pretty horrible and intolerant place. Why is he working here in the first place?
To collect his pension. I really believe that's a lot of these teachers are just doing this to collect their pension. He's an antagonizer. He's from the Toronto District School Board. He went up to York Region to antagonize women and grandparents and parents that are scared for their kids' well-being in school and don't want this pushed upon their children. And he's standing there with a smug look on his face, laughing in mothers' faces. That's unacceptable and disgusting.
I see, ma'am, your sign says, "We do not consent to SOGI, sexual orientation and gender identity, in the curriculum. Let kids be kids." That sounds reasonable, but it seems that the Catholic School Board doesn't have a problem with SOGI.
This is not a topic that is appropriate for children in any way, shape, or form. They have their entire lives to decide their sexual orientation, and this is the last thing that children are thinking about. Their brains aren't developed until they are 25. They do not have the mental capacity to make such decisions, and this school system needs to stop indoctrinating and brainwashing and confusing these children.
Well, I'm with V. She's one of the organizers of this demonstration, and I just couldn't help but notice there's a cameraman from City TV here.
Along
So
your
you
own
can leave.
narrative.
You
So we
twist.
don't need you to be
You
here.
twist the
Don't
story,
the
so
story
you
around
can leave.
and the truth.
We want the real story going out. We want the real story going out, not the fake news. Thank you. Bye-bye. Leave. Demonic sorcery right there. In the name of Jesus, you can leave. In the name of Jesus, you can leave. Thank you.
And you weren't anxious to give him an interview. Why was that?
I wasn't anxious, just because, yeah, they do twist our stories. So I want to make sure that the right story gets out to the public of why we're doing this most important work. Because the SOGI narrative is destroying the hearts, the minds, and the souls of the children in both the public schools and the Catholic schools, okay? There's a lot of misinformation about this happening in maybe only the public schools. No, this is happening all across Canada.
I would argue that if there's any examples of hatred here, it might be from the school teacher, Mr. De Bono. He seems utterly dismissive of Catholic doctrine. He seems all about importing his own ideology into a Catholic school. If he hates Catholicism so much, why is he working for a Catholic school in the first place?
I couldn't agree with you more. He also has been teaching that Jesus is trans, which is very confusing for children. And as you and I both know, that is not based in fact or truth. Okay? So he is imposing his beliefs onto children when parents chose this specific school for their beliefs, because it aligns with their beliefs, and now he is imposing his beliefs onto children, which is not the beliefs of the parents and the children here in this school.
That's a good point. He works for the Toronto Catholic District School Board, but a couple of days ago he went north of the city to, I don't know, pollinize his ideology to the York District Catholic School Board. So, I mean, he's not content just for his own school or school board to go woke. He wants to spread it everywhere.
Well, this is what the whole thing is. This is what they want to do. They want to spread it everywhere. No one can say anything to them. They just laugh in your face, and that's about it. Smug looks on their face. He had a big smug look under the double mask that he was wearing. He's saying he's not scared. He's wearing double masks, and he's laughing at people. That's not right. Well, he's clearly got some mental health issues. He should probably be assessed by a doctor, to be honest. He shouldn't be around children. He's pushing gender ideology on kids. He wants women and boys and men and little girls to mix washrooms. He has no problem with that. So, you know what? He should be assessed by a doctor. And the school board should really do something about it, but they're too scared. Everybody's scared to say something. I'm not scared.
Children are neither the property of their parents nor even the world's. That's disgusting.
Who do they belong to? The question arises.
Yeah, exactly. They belong only to their own future freedom. Let's go to the back. This is one of the most disturbing parts of the book. Who are these gremlins? Are they sexual predators that they're implying? Who are these gremlins? Who are these? Oh, so it's saying freedom to make a difference. It is better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. Deal with it and be a gender transcender.
What's that?
To transcend your gender? Very confusing, I would say. Very confusing. Oh, we have myths. Let's talk about the myths. People who are trans know from a very young age. Some people do and some people don't. There is no one right time to figure out questions of identity. And that's true for all of us.
Drag queens represent sexuality. Has anyone ever, I've never been to a drag show, but I know there's a lot of sexual content that goes on. It is not appropriate for children. It was not appropriate when I was in school, and that has not changed. It is not appropriate for children.
And we want to make a point that they are using the disguise under that community to pass this agenda forward into the children's minds and their hearts. And this is absolute, it's criminal, okay? We got to call it what it is. It's mental and emotional manipulation.
And sorry to interrupt you. I see the Toronto police are here in one of their SUV cruisers. This seems to be part of the narrative too. Your group, you're carrying out a peaceful protest. You're not wearing trouble on your shirt, and yet, I don't know, is this a sign of intimidation by the school? They're bringing in the state muscle?
For sure, of course, yes. They think that bringing in the cops is going to intimidate us or somehow make us feel like we need to censor our words, and it's not going to happen. We have the right to our freedom of speech, okay? What's going on in the schools is a threat to the children. They are deeming us, as yesterday we were at a school in Vaughan, And the teachers are trying to paint us and smear us as if we're terrifying the children. Meanwhile, they're scaring the children inside the schools before dismissing them.
Actually, we have a clip of you speaking in Vaughan, and suddenly some rather large woman got handsy with you. Let's just roll to that clip right now.
We are now faced with deplorable testimonies from parents of their children being sexualized in classrooms by teachers introducing learning material about sexual preferences, illustrating sexual acts like performing oral sex with their peers. A courageous parent shared recently, excuse me, why are you grabbing my head? Why are you yelling at me? Why are you yelling at me? Who are you? Silence yourself. Silence yourself. Okay? You cannot touch me. You cannot touch me. Who are you?
So V, what was that all about? Who was that person?
That person was Linda Jackson.
Oh.
The deputy mayor of Vaughan, and we were at a safety meeting with the fellow police of York Region, though. And she found that what I was saying about the children was not to be said in her meeting, in the safety meeting. They found that it was more important to talk about surveillance cameras and changing the locks on your doors and the auto theft.
I think it's highly age inappropriate. I think children have had so much happen to them over the last few years that, you know, they just need to enjoy life, play, be taught, you know, math, science, arts, and be inclusive of everybody. Parents need to, you know, just teach children to be loving, and children are naturally inclusive. So, you know, it's unfortunate that so many labels are continuing to be placed on humanity and society, and that is what actually further divides us. When we can come together and unite and, you know, just realize we are all one, and how we can actually come together to have a decent conversation. You know, but unfortunately what is happening is none of these parents are being heard, and that's what we saw happen in the delegation meeting the other day. You know, parents are not actually given the opportunity to speak.
Well, there you have it, folks. Another group of concerned parents and allies justifiably upset with the kind of materials that are going into elementary schools, the things elementary school teachers are tweeting these days, and yet the principals, the school board educrats, they won't listen. They will ignore these people. They will vilify them. And as the case may be, if they really push their agenda, well, that's when the state muscle comes in. You might just face arrest as, oh, I don't know, a domestic terrorist. For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Folks, you know, we here at Rebel News, we always want the other side of the story. So we did indeed reach out to Paulo De Bono. We wanted to have a brief interview with him regarding his statements, his tweets. Easier said than done. Just check out this descent into madness I had when I spoke to the receptionist at the school. That would be St. Antoine Daniel Catholic School. All I was trying to do was leave a message for Mr. De Bono. It sounded like I was asking this lady to run a triathlon. Check it out.
Yes, good morning. How you doing? I'm just calling to hopefully speak with Mr. De Bono, please.
Sorry, I double-checked. He is not in today. He put in an absent. You have to call his private line.
Oh, okay then.
Thank you.
Do you have that number?
No, I only have this number.
Oh.
Any number of the staff I do not give because it's personal and confidential. If you know that number, you are that's right. If you don't know the number, too bad. I can't help you on that.
I understand. Can I give you a message to pass on to him?
No, you can't give me a message. Unless you want to email him, and depends whether he wants to return your email.
Oh, okay. I just want to tell you I'm David Menzies with Rebel News. We're doing a news story on Mr. De Bono.
I who you are.
Pardon me?
I'm sorry. If you want to connect with him, you can email him directly. I don't have his personal phone number, and I won't be able to call him. Okay?
That's too much of a task, I take it then. I'm just trying...
I don't even do it to my own principal. Anybody want to leave, I say, send an email to the principal. I don't take messages because I don't want to relate it something. I might make a mistake, okay?
No,
Have
but
a great day.
what I'm saying, ma'am, is I'm trying to get his side of the story. And if
No, it doesn't matter what you want to do.
It doesn't.
My job is done.
Wow, your tax dollars hard at work as always, folks. In any event, I did obtain Mr. DeBono's email. I sent him an email. I provided my personal cell phone number. But at time of broadcast, we have yet to hear from him. But as always, our ears are always open for what Mr. DeBono would have to say in terms of, well, defending the indefensible. Well, folks, if you are a fan of our journalism, please, we need your help. Please go to rebelfieldreports.com. That's rebelfieldreports.com. We don't accept any government funding. We depend on you, our beloved viewers, for donations. So again, if you can help us out with $1 or $2, that would be greatly appreciated. rebelfieldreports.com.